Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sorry I'm a Bitch, the podcast for anyone who's ever been called a bitch. Hosted by Kaylee Ellis and produced by me, Hannah Laree.
Welcome to Sorry I'm a Bitch. Today we have Ashley. She hit us up on our Sorry I'm a Bitch TikTok and she was like, hey, are y'all going to the protest? And I was like, no, didn't know about it, but we're going now. And then we went live at the protest. And that's all because of Miss Ashley here. And so we just got to talking. We met up for some coffee and she told me a crazy ass story. And I said, please, 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 will you come on the podcast and tell this because this is insane. So today, the episode, I think we had thought about calling it My Boyfriend is Married and Now He's Suing Me. So start from the beginning.
Oh man. All right. So this all started maybe 6 or 7 months ago. We are at work and none of this would have ever happened if this man was wearing his wedding band. We would not be sitting here right now if this man would just wear his wedding band to work.
No tan line, no nothing.
It's funny because I even was hiding behind a wall while he was doing his business at work, and I was pointing to my coworkers. I was like, "No ring, no ring! Like we're in, we're in." So, yeah. One thing I will remember forever is no ring ever was in any moment that I was with him. No ring.
And none of your coworkers knew that he was married.
Correct. And with my job, there are many different locations and different managers and directors that I'm very close with. My industry is very tiny. If you really look at it, everybody knows everyone. And so he was pretty well known across my company. I mean, he's a very tall, very good looking guy. Obviously, people are going to talk whoa, who is this guy? And so one of my managers and I, we had a running joke, yeah, me and Dan, we're gonna end up together. It was just kind of an inside joke. This guy was my wingman. This guy's been my wingman for years. We would manifest every day at work. This is the weekend. I'm gonna find a man. So this guy was on board for Dan, as was I. And so the first day at work, he comes up and introduces himself, and I am just sitting at my desk, shy and in shock that this man's talking to me, and I go blank. I'm just staring up at him, probably jaw on the floor, just hi. This is really awkward, but hi. So we shake hands, and he ends up leaving. He would never stay more than 20 minutes anytime he was at my job. But so he leaves, and everyone around me at work, everyone starts whispering after he's gone, Ashley got to meet the really hot guy. So it was just a joke for the day. And then maybe 30 minutes later, he emails me and he goes, "It was great to meet you today, blah, blah, blah. Here's my number in case you need anything." And I'm like, all right, I get it. This is a man giving me his number.
Yes.
It wasn't a business.
And it's his personal number, I'm guessing.
Actually his work cell.
That's how he got away with it.
Yes. But I'm pretty sure that was the only phone line he had at the moment when I met him, because I didn't get a second cell phone number for another few months.
Oh.
But when he gave me that second cell number, he was like, wait, I can't be sexting on my work phone. Oh. Because that's not good. So we'd gone maybe a few months of just work phone. Very sexual relationship over the phone.
How long did it take before you guys actually started dating?
So we never officially went out on dates, but he would come over to my house and hang out.
Okay.
Because the thing was, when we first started texting, He called me one morning and said, "Hey, I'm so sorry. Like, this is really bad timing, but my job is moving me to," and I'm just like, "Oh, well, that's crap. That's
Yeah.
crappy timing." It was never probably ever going to get serious unless he moved back to.
Yeah. So was that real? Was his job actually moving him?
I don't officially know the real answer to that.
Okay.
In the end, he actually lived in a suburb this entire time with his wife.
And then at what point did you start thinking this is weird?
Honestly, not until I found out he had a wife. All of it just started adding up, but nothing he would ever tell me I would ever question, because it was
Yeah.
just, it never sounded like a lie. Everything fit together so perfectly that why would I ever question this? Like, I've been in a long distance relationship before. So, the relationship's through the phone basically. Like, I'm used to that. And so nothing was really out of the ordinary. And whenever he was in town, he would stay not for very long because he has to drive back home. And that made sense to me. Like, you're off of work for the day, like, you got to go home.
Yeah.
To do, go to the next day of work.
Okay, so tell us how you found out, because this is insane.
So how I found out, it's kind of an off tangent story. So let me preface by saying he came to my work about a month ago. This was the last time I've seen him. He was at work. We had not been communicating during this time. And he came into my job and then he ended up leaving. He ended up texting me, trying to, weasel his way back into my phone. He goes, "You just love how up and down I am," and like trying to be all braggy about how like hot and cold he is with me. He tried to get back into my good graces because, I don't want to say I'm a pushover, but I'm just like, I'm easy to forgive people and to like, give them grace. I basically tell him like, "Hey, I can't keep doing this on and off thing with you. This is really unhealthy for me. It's affecting my mental health. And every time you come back around, like I just feel like I am mentally and emotionally drained, like energy vampire drained." And so I basically told him like, "I'm good, like goodbye." And that was that. And so here's where the story kind of takes a turn, but it'll connect soon. The very next day, I was on TikTok, and this there's like a fake sugar daddy account was like messaging me about wanting a new girlfriend and to spoil. I was just kind of playing along with it because I was like, this is 100% bullshit. Like, I'm not stupid, but I end up on this texting app with this person. He said, "Oh, I live overseas, but I'm from Alabama, blah, blah, blah." So I searched the phone number online. And so there are websites out there you can search a phone number. You pay $5. So I was like, all right, I'll just spend $5. Like, whatever. The person ended up being some Hispanic guy from New Jersey. I'm like, all right, whatever. Cool. I have access to this website now because I paid $5 and you get like 3 days of access to search any phone number you want. So I'd go, I'm going to search my phone number just to kind of do like a control to see like, how legit is this? Yeah. So I searched my own phone number. It comes back pretty good stuff. Nobody would really normally ever know about me. Just very small details about me. So I'm just like, oh, okay. So since this is like the very next day, Dan's still fresh on my mind a little. So I'm like, let's check in on Dan. Like, let's see where he's at. And I'm so curious to know like where he's been living, what he's been up to. So I search his phone number and pops up of a suburb of the purchase date on his house was a few months before this. So very recently moved. And it listed a wife's name on the search. So I have the address of this house. I do a Zillow search. So like I see where it is, see what it looks like inside, obviously, the sell date and everything. And so I ended up paying another like $3 to see what names were on the deed of the house. And so it was his name and wife's name. And then I go, interesting. She's probably on Facebook. Found her on Facebook. There he is in her profile picture. Wedding band on. I was in a lot of shock, actually. I ended up having to send my psychiatrist an email about it. I was in so much shock. I went to work the next day, I was shaking all day. And I ended up getting a prescription for Klonopin because I could not calm down. Like nothing like this had ever happened to me in my entire life.
Did you tell your wingman immediately?
Oh, immediately. Oh, he was pissed.
Yeah.
Still pissed to this day. But it's funny because that next day at work, I get a message from my wingman, and apparently Dan was supposed to be at the wingman's wife's work that day. He didn't show up to that job site. I get a screenshot of this email from Dan to the wife's boss saying, "Hey, I'm so sorry I messed up. I'll be there Monday, I promise." So who knows what he was actually going through that day. He'd been texting me the entire time, which surprisingly, I was like, why are you not like trying to block me or like, trying to like run, But I don't know if he was just trying to like formulate a plan. Like, how am I going to get away with this?
Mm-hmm.
But he was like very calm, just being apologetic. And the night where I found out he was married, I texted him. I go, "Hey, Dan, one last thing. Can you call me real quick?" And so he calls me and I pick up. I'm like, "Hey, like, how's it going?" And just to like kind of, set the trap. So we get talking and I'm like, "So, when were you going to tell me about your wife?" And you could just hear the silence on the phone. The next thing that comes out of his mouth was shocking, but, he goes, "I'm like so sorry. I was going to tell you," which is probably bullshit, but my wife is actually pregnant. And so I feel obligated to stay and be there for the kid. And so I'm just like,
Did he tell you like how far along?
4 months, which I kind of backtracked at the moment because last fall he had a family member pass away and I didn't hear from him for like a month. And he's just like, "I'm so sorry, like I'm going through a lot right now, like I need space, blah blah blah." And I'm like, that's about the time
She would have been
been finding out that she was pregnant. So I'm just like, did your family member actually die? I couldn't find an obituary, so I'll just say that. Obituaries are online. Public information. Could not find one at all. So I go off on him for hours, just lighting his ass up. And I go, "I hope it's a girl. You can name her Ashley."
Was there a moment where you were like, all right, girl to girl, am I going to go to his wife and tell his wife, or am I not going to tell his wife?
Oh, absolutely. So I had confided in a lot of friends after I found this out, and everyone right away who I talked to was like, "You've got to tell his wife. Like, you have to." I didn't even like fill people in on the whole pregnancy part because, give her some privacy. But I just felt like, she needs to know what her little weasel husband's up to. So yeah, I didn't end up telling her until like the one day after I confronted him about it. So like I had a whole day to kind of like process. And after I sent her a little DM, he texts me, "I think you should call me," or "I think you need to call me." So I do. I'm like, "Hey, like, what's up?" I can just hear this man is scared for his fucking life, which it's fair. I just blew his life up.
Well, he blew his own life
Yeah.
up. So what did you say to her?
I literally told her the entire truth. I said, "Hey, the last like Well, first of all, I said, hey, like, you don't know who I am, but your husband sure does. I was like, yeah, basically the last 6 to 7 months, your husband and I have had on and off sexual relations. And this entire time, he's pretended to have this bachelor life and he travels for work. No mention of a wife. Like, I had no idea you existed until maybe 12 hours ago. So I don't want to be sitting here sending you this message. It's the very last thing that I ever have wanted to do, but I think you deserve to know, woman to woman.
And what did she?
She goes, I'm sorry, what?
Oh no, poor thing. She had no idea.
She had no idea.
Oh.
And so he calls me again, freaking out. He starts pressuring me with a lawsuit saying, like, I will not stop. I will take you to court. Like, you better get your family attorney ready. I'm coming after you. He goes, you need to send her another message and take everything you said back. Say none of it was true.
What?
So I'm alone by myself. I'm actually dog sitting for a friend at this point. I'm just like scared out of my mind. I had never heard this man so mean and emotional before, but it was like a mask just like ripped off.
But like, what legally did you do wrong?
Well, I said, I should sue you for emotional damage. I didn't say I was going to. I said, I should. I started listing numbers like, like $1,000 a week, like whatever. And he goes, I showed my therapist our text messages and she sent screenshots to my family attorney.
No fucking way.
Saying,
no, first of all, no fucking way is that man in therapy. Second of all, is that not like client therapist thing where like you can't just share that shit to a third party? I think he's a fucking liar. I think he's a really good fucking liar.
Very good.
I think he's trying to scare you. No fucking way is he going to take his mistress to fucking court and
literally
drag that out and have his pregnant fucking wife sitting there.
But anyways, yeah, he kept trying to scare me into that. And he was using like, oh, I'm going to sue you for extortion because of the dollar amounts I was listing. He thought he had legal grounds for that. So I was just scared out of my mind. And I was so emotional to begin with that I was taking it seriously because,
yeah,
I just, I was alone. I didn't really know what else to do at that moment.
Well, he sounds unhinged too. And that's, men are scary.
Yeah. I don't even know. I was terrified. But so I had to go back to the DM and he said, take it back or I will keep making this worse for you. And so I had to basically go and redact everything I said to his wife.
You told his wife that it wasn't true?
No. I did. Unfortunately. Because he just wouldn't stop calling me and screaming at me. It wouldn't stop in the moment. And I was just so spooked. So basically I said, like, I'm so sorry, like I met your husband at work. I'm just really jealous that he rejected me. I'm playing the crazy card just to like get him off my ass.
I would have been like, no, because he doesn't have the upper hand. But also, like now he can say that you're a crazy person.
It's funny because I still have text messages from him. He said, you can message her and say it wasn't as serious as you said, ... and we can try and fix it.
I would have sent that screenshot.
Yeah, my lawyer's all over that screenshot. And he said, I will not stop. I just had to, which I hope the wife has a brain. I really hope she has a brain.
Yeah.
And can see.
No, she'll be in denial. I have a feeling pregnancy.
The way he lies.
Going back, would you have just let it go and not have told his wife?
Honestly, if I knew then that he would ended up taking me to court over this, I probably would have waited a little bit longer or maybe like wait and see what he told his wife because that's what he was planning to do before I got to her. And he called me. He's like, you couldn't wait 2 more fucking hours for me to talk to my wife.
If you were going to talk to your wife, you would have talked to your wife.
Yeah, you would have talked to her already.
Oh my God. So, okay, is your lawyer like, dude, no fucking way he's taking this to court? Or is your lawyer like, gear up?
Yeah, my lawyer is like, this is all bullshit. This is essentially frivolous. And she doesn't understand why he's taking me to court. Which I'll say he is trying to get a restraining order against me. And I haven't been served papers formally yet, so we can't see like what he's claiming
Yeah.
for that restraining order. So we're kind of just in this like,
I guess he could probably use the message you sent his wife to be like, she's a stalker.
that's my first guess.
And I'm guessing that was probably his plan all along, was that you would do that and then he could go, see, she's a crazy stalker, and use that as leverage. Man, what a manipulator. I mean, the thing is like that he might have that receipt, but you have way more receipts.
Oh God, yeah.
Once you go to court, that's public record. That's like forever public record.
That's damning on my record, one.
He's the cheater. So, and now you're going to have that in public record that you're a cheater. Especially in our state, we have a database where you can go in and you can search someone's name and you can see every court case that they've ever had. So you're going to like risk that to have this court case on your record where someone can go on and be like, oh yeah, I took my mistress to fucking court.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to a judge looking at him and saying, you're wasting all of our fucking time sitting here because you can't own up to your business.
Cheaters like to keep shit quiet.
So it had been quiet for a few weeks until this last week.
Yeah.
And I got, the court summons postcard in the mail.
You got an actual court summons?
Yeah. It just said like his name versus my name court. And it just said like the court date. So we knew it was coming just from that. But
and your lawyer is like, this is legit.
Yeah. But I'm waiting for a sheriff to show up and serve me papers. And I just haven't had that happen yet.
But you have a court date.
Yeah. In like 2 weeks. So I had to lawyer up pretty quickly.
And you still don't know what he's suing you over.
Correct.
Yeah. My life has been kind of hell the last few weeks, but this has been a huge stressor. And honestly, if none of this was happening right now, life would be so great. But this is like a black cloud. It won't get off my back.
You sent the message to his wife. I feel like he could have just been like, see, she was a stalker at work and I don't know what's going on, and just left it at that. But to take it to court now, your text messages and all of your stuff's going to come out, and then it's going to be like, yeah, okay, he did cheat. So like he could have just let it go.
He won't let it go. He won't let me go. You own a house. You have a wife. You have a baby on the way, supposedly. You have it all right there. You have it all. One last thing, I just need to quote Stassi Schroeder when she says, I am the devil, don't you forget it.
If you like what you're hearing so far, give us a follow. We are a brand new podcast and we do everything ourselves, so your support quite literally keeps us going. And don't forget to tune in next Tuesday, right here on Sorry I'm a Bitch.